Hi friends, this is Cindy Blair from the Alexandria Museum of Art. I'm one of the educators there, and we are all working from home now, but still working to bring you art engagement. And today is Art Together Tuesday. So last week we made a sun catcher using toilet paper rolls, and this week we are going to use a similar technique, or really the same technique, but in a different way to make a box luminary. Um, so let me just show you that. So we have a little box luminary. You can see it's on my studio shelf with all my little things. But let me show you. It's pretty right just like that. I'm gonna take it and now it's all lit up. So we're gonna talk about how to make one of these today. Okay, well, good afternoon. Uh, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna paint the inside of the toilet paper roll. Um, I'm just using a little white acrylic paint. This is not a have to, it just helps the light reflect off of the inside of the toilet paper roll. So I'm gonna do that really quickly. It doesn't have to be neat, and you don't wanna get the paint too watery. You don't want it to be too thick either, so just a little bit of water in your paint, not a lot. It'll help it spread around the inside. Doesn't have to be neat. And I'm gonna do that really quickly. Okay, I've just painted my the inside of my toilet paper tubes. While those are drying, I'm gonna prepare this box. The first thing you wanna do is make sure, so these little lights, they come from Amazon. They're gonna have like a little plastic things in here to protect the battery life. So you're gonna want to make sure you pull that out so your lights will work. I've already done that, and you know, good, the lights work. All right. They usually take a minute to unwind. So if you haven't worked with these lights before, anybody who's been to one of our community luminary workshops before has dealt with these lights. You want to make sure that you unwind them very carefully, and you don't bend them back and forth a lot because they will, the wire will break on you. But you know, you're okay as long as you're not crimping that wire too much. So just carefully unwind them. You want to make sure it's all unwound before you start. Let's see, look, it's okay. Sometimes when we have our community luminary workshops at the museum, which we do before every illuminated procession, and I usually go around and unwind these for people just because I think that makes their experience a little bit more relaxing as I'm handing them out. So, but look, it's not that big a deal. Oh, you just want to stretch your lights out gently. And again, I'm going to put a link for these lights, an Amazon link, because as of this past Friday, they were still, I know that maybe it might take a couple extra days to get your order, but they are still delivering stuff like this. I made an order for my own personal self last week and the week before. Just might take them a couple extra days to get to you. Okay, once you have your wire all stretched out, we're gonna need to make a hole in this box. So you can use your scissors if you have some nice pointy scissors. I have this great pair of pointy scissors that my brother bought me a long time ago from the Pearl River Market in New York City. They're fabulous. They'll cut anything. But if you don't have that, maybe you have a box cutter or something like that that you can just get in here. I'm gonna go from the back. And I'm gonna make sure that my lights are on the bottom. So I'm just making a hole. Now nobody's gonna see that later. So don't worry about that. Okay, find the end of my lights if I can. There it is. Okay, now I'm gonna just pull the end of the lights through that hole. Pull them all the way through. All the way through. Okay, look, I've got a little crimping situation here, but I'm just gonna gently untwist it. Okay. And just keep pulling, gently pulling those lights through that hole. Now, there's actually a few different things you could do once you get your box lit. There are some different ideas of how to make a box sort of luminary with cutout paper and things like that. And maybe we'll do an extension of this lesson at some point, and I can show you that. I know Nancy Knowles has done a beautiful lesson on this before. There are a couple of variations. I've done a few with my veterans where you can use acetate and that kind of thing and make Sharpie marker drawings on it. So there's a lot of different things you can do, but today we're using the toilet paper rolls. So also you need a little bit of masking tape. So you're gonna take, oh, this is a brand new roll, y'all. We don't have a blooper reel here, so it's just, we're just doing it. Okay. And you're just gonna tape your lights wherever you want them. Tape that battery pack down. Flip it over. And now I'm gonna just start taping the lights down and sort of go around the box, sort of wind in towards the center. And you know, you can go ahead and tear yourself a few little pieces of tape. You can use really small pieces actually, because we're just going to be taping the wire down on the back of the box. Okay. Because, you know, I'm doing this because otherwise you're tearing tape every 5 seconds or 2 seconds and it'll just make you crazy. And, you know, we don't need extra crazy right now. Let's do some things to make our lives a little bit easier. I'm going to start with that. Okay. So now I'm just going to start, and this doesn't have to be perfect or pretty or anything because you're not going to see this later. I'm just going to start taping that wire down. Now these are LED lights, so they won't get hot in here. So this is all pretty safe. I mean, it is safe, not pretty safe, totally safe. Okay, because this box is a little deep, I think I'm actually gonna tape some of these lights closer to the front because it is a pretty deep box and I want that light to make sure that light's reaching the front. In fact, let's just turn it on. Yeah, I think it will be fine. I mean, we can check. Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be good, but we're going to put some of these lights closer to the front just to see. Now I'm just taping it on the side. No big deal. All right, so now that's done. It's time to fit your, so I'm just using a piece of, this is a regular piece of copy paper you might have in your house. If you don't have copy paper, then like a thin paper or tissue, yeah, that you can use to do this. All right, so what you're going to do now is you're going to have your light on in your box, and you're actually going to trace the box, the inside of the box. Where did my pencil go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Just hold it steady. This line doesn't have to be perfect. It's just going to give you an idea. Like, that's not a perfect line. It's okay. That's all right. Okay, I'm gonna make sure you get along the edge though. You can be sketchy, that's all right. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, on each side, give about an inch, and you're just gonna cut along the side here. Giving yourself about an inch wide frame on each side. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, does not have to be perfect. I mean, what is really, right? That's a little less than an inch, but that's okay. All right. Okay. You can see that we've got a little buffer on each side of our little box that we've drawn. Now I'm gonna find the corner, and I'm gonna take my scissors and line it up with the corner here, and I'm just gonna cut right to that corner. And I'm gonna flip my paper and do the same on the other side. And I'm gonna do that for all my corners. Again, your lines don't have to be straight. Just do the best you can. I rarely do straight lines. I mean, no one really can. I don't think. All right. Okay. So you should have something that looks like that. Okay. Now I'm going to fold along those lines. Just more or less even. I mean, so this is actually, once you get this folded up, this is gonna sit inside the box over the lights. Okay. 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 Okay, so it just sits there. You can push it, and you want to push it in enough so that you will have room for your the little toilet paper roll design you're going to make. Actually, let me just pull this out a little bit. Yeah. Now, another option would be if that's making you crazy, you could just sit it in there like this. But I don't really like how that looks for me. So I'm just gonna flip it this way. You can see a little bit of the lights on the side, but that's okay. We're gonna, I think once we get our toilet paper roll design in here, it's gonna be better. Okay, so you got that. I'm gonna push it in as close as I can to the lights, actually. So you can just kind of like ease it back so that it's closer to your lights. If you're working with a more shallow box, this part isn't going to really be an issue. But yeah. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that one's pretty dry. This one, it can dry while I'm cutting this one. It's almost there. So you just pick the driest one. You're going to kind of, don't squish it all the way flat, but just kind of squish it a little bit flat so there's just, you make a little crimp on either end here. You kind of want it to be even on each side so that you got something like that. Okay. Now, you're going to cut little, I guess it's about 1/4 of an inch slices.
Some are thinner than the others. That's really okay. Okay, so as you can see, I have my cuts toilet paper roll. Actually, you could use paper towel roll as well to do this, but I have cut some slices and I've arranged a plan here. If you can see, I am using a piece of paper that I had cut to make the first little screen, but that didn't work out. And so actually I'm using this as a template so I can tell sort of the size I need to do. Now, even when I go to put this in the box, it might squeeze and change the shape of it, but that's okay. So for now, I'm doing a little plan. Let me show you what I've done here. So I've got these little slices, and they're like a little pointy oval. Now, if you want to squish them and make different shapes, experiment with that. These are just the shapes I've made. You can make different ones. So I have right here where I've taken one of these and I have folded it in half to make like rabbit ears sort of, and I've squished it inside, and then I played with it and I squished a little one on the other side of it just to make a little bit of a design. And I'm sort of going in a flower thing here. Now with some of these, what I've done is I've cut the strip in half, and I took a pencil and I just sort of wound it up. Just made a bit of a curl. And I'm going to use those in the design as well. And so yeah, those are the basic things I've done. Now you can experiment with this, and you can take this and you can flip it this way, the little rabbit ears, and see then you have a different design. But I'm going to go this way on it for now. And now that I have my design more or less planned out, I'm going to glue it together using a little bit of Elmer's glue. You can water it down if you want to. I'm using a paintbrush. The important thing to remember if you're going to use a paintbrush to to use for glue, then you're going to really want to make sure that when you're done here that you wash it very carefully with soap and water. And if you have to put it down for some reason, put it in a jar of water, because the last thing you want to have happen is for your glue to harden on your paintbrush. It kills paintbrushes. I can tell you from loads of experience making luminaries, using glue, and community luminary workshops where maybe where one got left on the table. You don't want that to harden on your brush. So just make sure you're keeping it in some water. So I'm going to start from the center. Now you don't have to lay yours out beforehand. I just thought it would be easier. I'm just putting a little bit of glue, placing that in there. You just have to press lightly. It should be enough to get it to, and if you feel like maybe you can go back through and in the cracks, add a little glue. You don't want to use too much glue though, because, again, these toilet paper rolls will sort of, get too soggy, and you don't want that. So that's one of the reasons I'm using a paintbrush, is I can spread it out over the surface. So I'm just going to continue working. I am going to stop right here for right now, but now would be a really good chance for you to look at it and think about, is there anything else I want to add? Am I happy with it the way it is? And if not, just maybe think about, ask yourself, what do I see that's making me feel like it's maybe not complete yet? Is there an area that you really feel like you need more design in? Just some things to ask you. Don't be hard on yourself, just sort of keep your brain thinking about what you might want. So I'm going to let it dry for right now, and then I'm going to come back to it and pop it in the box. So now I have, this is the glue has set. And you want to make sure, I didn't point out before, but you want to make sure that you're not using so much glue that it's going to stick to this. If it does, you can just gently pry it off. But you know, you could also use, you know, if you got like a little piece of wax paper and trace the inside of the box, and then maybe put just like, I mean, a teensy drop of baby oil or something like that and rub it on so it wouldn't stick to it, then that's another option. But mine stuck a little bit. It wasn't a big deal. If you don't use too much glue, it won't be too much of a problem. Just be careful of that. Okay, so now it's time to take this and you can just sort of squeeze it into the box. And then there you have it. And let's see what it looks like with the lights turned on. Let's have a look. Actually, that's the bottom. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's fun. Okay. Well, so that is how you make a box luminary. Now, you notice I didn't glue it because the tension is holding the piece in. If you want to, you can just take a couple of drops of glue along where it's touching the box. You know, from this point forward, you could, you know, to fill the rest of the space, you could add a few more, but I'm happy with it the way it is. You know, another extension of this is then you could get some acrylic paint and paint the sides and, you know, anywhere where you see cardboard. And that would be a really, really lovely finished product.
Okay, we finished our box luminary and I've got them right over here. And as you can see, the one that we made today, I actually did go ahead and paint it white. I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions, please leave them in comments below. And if there's anything you'd like to see us do or anything you'd like to make with us, leave that in comments as well. And also make sure to like and share the video and go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that way you don't miss anything. And that helps us get to other people too, and we're really trying to bring as much joy as we can to people right now. So tune in tomorrow. You can, on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page, we'll be doing an online tour of our Childhood Classics exhibition. It's 100 years of illustrations from children's books. So tune in for that tomorrow, and we'll see you next Tuesday for AMoA Art Together Tuesday. Bye, guys.